Hey y'all, after some renovations around the house, I ended up with a lot of extra and reclaimed 2x4s, so we're going to repurpose them for hanging some chairs, sawhorses, and lumber on the walls of the garage. This will help me free up some space to continue the build out of the garage workshop. Starting with the lumber rack, I'm going to build just a basic 2-tier setup with some bracing to support the load on the cross members. After cutting the pieces, I pre-drilled and set the screws in the main brace that will mount against the wall. Then glued and screwed each of the cross members in place. To make sure I got the cross brace in the middle of the board, I used a few spacer blocks set to the right height that it would be able to be centered on the board while I screwed it in. Then I did the same for the braces. What research I could find led me to believe that the braces are really beneficial if the end of them are at least halfway out of the cross member. So that's the measurement I roughly used to determine the size of them. My cross member is 12 inches, and so the cross brace comes out 6 inches into the middle of it. These measurements are just what will work for my area. You can make these any size you want custom to your area. After confirming that they were all square, it was time to mount them. I found the stud in the wall with the stud finder and then drove in one screw. I then found level before driving in the second. I'm using structural screws that say they're replacements for lag screws, so 2 of these per mount will be good and hold them up as well as the lumber no problem. After repeating that on the second unit, I ran a taut string between the two and used that as my reference point to mount the rest of the units. This system is pretty flexible. You can build as many of these as you want. I just went with 6 to start. Once I got them all hung up, I checked to make sure they're all level with each other. These 2x4s are 10 feet long. Rarely am I going to need anything that long, but I might as well make sure they're all in the same plane. One was out of level, so after fixing that and double checking it, it was time to load it up. As you can see from the placement of these, it turns out my walls are not all 16 inches on center. Matter of fact, the stud finder couldn't even find any studs between the 2 sides of the door frame. I'm sure there's something in there, but I went ahead and just spaced out the braces to where I knew studs would be, and that'll work out just fine. For now, I'm sticking all my scraps up here, and while it's nice for it to be up and out of the way, these are 10-foot ceilings, and so this is only accessible by ladder. I'm probably going to need to build something else lower to the ground for a lot of my small scraps to keep them easy at hand, but for now this will work on help decluttering the shop. Now I have a few folding chairs as well as some camping chairs I need to get out of the way. I cut a few boards with a 10-degree angle to make sure the chairs don't fall off, and then glued and screwed them in. They need to be sideways for the folding chairs to fit on them, but for the camping chair I was able to get this piece to stand up vertically, still with the 10-degree cut on it. Once mounted with the structural screws, I loaded it up, and the folding chair mounts didn't flex any. There really isn't that much weight on these, even though I would have preferred for them to be vertical like the camping chair chairs, it'll be just fine. Lastly, I mounted the holder for the sawhorses. These sit up and out of the way of the garage door and the rest of the shop, really opening up quite a bit of floor space as well as wall space for other less mobile items. And there you go. 3 simple garage wall hangers built from scrap 2x4s. If you like these projects, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Thanks.